Here we're going to go over these two multi-step equations. So first, the one on the left. Remember, when you are solving a multi-step equation, first see if there's any parentheses. If there is, you want to distribute. Then you want to look on each side of the equal sign and see if there are any like terms to combine. So if we look at the left side, do you see any like terms? Yeah, the ones with the x's are like terms. The regular numbers, the constants, are like terms. For some people, just putting symbols like this underneath helps them to identify them, and then they can just add them in their head. For others, it's good to first rearrange them. Let's move that minus 7x and put it by the 9x that is a like term with it. And this plus 1, let's move that minus 5 next to the plus 1, because those are like terms. Then you can more clearly see that you can combine these. If I have 9x's, I subtract 7x's, I have 2x's. If I have 1 and I subtract 5, I have negative 4. After you combine your like terms, look to make sure all the variables are on one side of the equal sign, which they are. They're all on the left. And notice that we're multiplying by 2 and we're subtracting 4. I always like to undo what's added or subtracted to the variable before I undo the multiplying. So to undo this minus 4, I'm going to add 4. And I'm going to add 4 to both sides, because minus 4 plus 4 cancels out. And I'm just left with 2x equals, and then 20 plus 4 is 24. Now I can undo the multiplying to get x by itself. So I'm going to undo that multiplying by 2 by dividing by 2. Because 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with 1x, which is just x, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. If we look at the one here on the right, notice again, there's no parentheses, we don't need to distribute. If we look at each side of the equal sign, on the left side, there's no like terms to combine, so we can just leave that. But on the right side, we do have some like terms. Notice that the minus 5c and the 13c are like terms. So if you want, you can first rearrange those. Let's put that plus 13c next to the minus 5c. Then you can more clearly see that these can be combined. Minus 5c plus 13c is 8c. And then everything else stays the same. Now in this case, we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So we need to first collect them on one side. We can either move this one over here, or we can move this one over here. I'm going to move the 8c over to the left side. So how do I do that? To move something to the other side, you always do the opposite. But what's the opposite of 8c? If you're not sure, think, is 8c a positive or a negative? It's a positive, so think of that as plus. What's the opposite of adding 8c? Subtracting 8c. So I'm going to subtract 8c from both sides, and I'm putting that minus 8c under the term that is a like term with it, because I know then that I can combine those together. So 9c minus 8c is just 1c. Nothing to combine with the plus 4. Still have my equal sign. 8c minus 8c is 0. And then I have plus 14, positive 14. So I'm just going to leave it as 14. Now there's just one thing happening to c. We're adding 4. So let's just subtract 4 from both sides, because that cancels out and we're just left on the left side with c. On the right side we have 10. So c equals 10.